All right. Welcome in to Toilets to Titles, episode number 97. This is week number 12 of the fantasy football season, and this is a very festive episode. We are all grateful. I am thankful. It is Thanksgiving, and I'm thankful to be joined by my buddies, the co-creators of toiletstotitles.com. To my left, Justin Stevens, looking like he's popping out of the cornucopia at JustinFF_. Justin, what's cooking?
Hey, and you guys obviously can see there what I'm thankful for, thanks to Nate, you jerk. So, I understand that you guys kind of gave me two options, and this was obviously the worst of the two options, but I felt like after the week I had, I totally deserved this punishment. So I am thankful for I can't.
Yeah.
Throw up.
I put it up there, but I can't say
it. He's thankful for Bill Belichick, and that has to do with if you're listening to an episode for the first time this season, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching live or watching later or listening on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, however you're listening to us, we do a competition you'll hear later in the show every week where we each pick a game of the week, and whoever's game is like the biggest point differential is the loser. Whoever's the closest to the winner gets to choose what the person's tag is underneath their photo during the episode. And Justin is thankful for Bill Belichick. Again, if you're also new to the show, you don't really know, Justin hates the Patriots. He's a Colts fan, also hates Bill Belichick, Brady. So he doesn't look very happy. But you know who looks happy? It's a guy sitting below me. All right, Mr. Chris Kringle himself at Nate_Dirt19, the Dirt Man. Nate, what's cooking?
Not a whole lot, man. You know, it's an exciting week. You know, we got Thanksgiving coming up. That's about it. You know, just getting ready to I'll put Christmas lights up this weekend. I got carpet getting laid on Friday, so I had to get a bunch of other stuff done before I get my lights up. So,
Nate, man, me and you are licking our wounds. We're gonna get into this a little later, how our teams did, but rough week. And for me,
it was,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it was just it's a not a good feeling on Sunday. Especially when I don't think we played that. The complimentary football thing is very very troublesome for us. It feels like
the Packers. He's referring to again.
The Packers. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's after the game, I'm sitting there and it's just like I got like a pit in my stomach. It's like I think it's the division rival thing too. Obviously, just makes it like, oh, you know what I mean? But hey, we'll be all right.
Yeah, man. The Cowboys, their defense played great. Justin messaged me early on. They got to slow down Tyreek Hill. And I'm like, dude, we don't have a chance to do that. We're going to have to go toe-to-toe with them scoring. And we held them to 19 points. And then you think about it, not only did we hold them to 19 points, our offense went 3 and out basically every series. So it was like we held them to 19 points without our offense doing anything. That was a tough game. And I think the saving grace for me is knowing it wasn't a division game. It wasn't a conference game. So it wasn't as impactful. Well, I mean, that's like I still don't feel good about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's if we're gonna get the loss, I guess I'd rather it be now. Now, and then you go and look at the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals, they're missing Kyler, they're missing Hopkins, and they're still winning games. So shout out to them. I respect that squad for getting it done. But Justin, your Colts had a hell of a day. Jesus. How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling very thankful for Jonathan Taylor. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah, me too.
I'm also feeling grateful that Frank Reich finally ran the football for 4 quarters. And I'm not saying it has to be Jonathan Taylor every single time. If you
yes, it does.
No. Obviously, yeah. You want to save him for the playoffs a little bit more, or you want to save his career a little longer, then go ahead and throw out Nyheim Hines, throw out Marlon Mack a little more, but just run the damn football. But keep Jonathan Taylor involved at some point in every quarter. Don't practically bench him at halftime, dude.
Right. I get the discussion for prolonging his career. I get that. But then on the other end, a guy could get hurt at any time. Like if he's in peak physical condition, and now it's easy for me to say, I'm not the person cutting the check. I'm not the coach. I'm not the guy writing the depth chart. But we see guys all the time. Like if he's at peak physical condition right now, he's balling right now, he's healthy right now, this offense is working with him right now, you don't worry about next year.
Yeah.
You don't. You gotta
by next year.
Yeah, you feed this man, and you go and you get to the playoffs, and then I've been talking about the Titans being dangerous and people being scared about playing them, the Patriots being dangerous and people being scared about playing them. I mean, when a team like the Colts can run the ball how they do, play defense like they've been playing, that's scary. That's a complete football team, and I think you should be feeling pretty good right now. You want to know what make me feel good, though? If you guys all subscribe to the show, go to our YouTube channel, Toilets and Titles. All right, subscribe to the show, hit the bell. You'll be alerted every time we go live. All right, hit the like button on any episodes. Throw us some comments. We go live, I want to say 7 or 8 times a week. We got Toilets and Titles live Tuesday night. That's our weekly fantasy football show. Wednesday night, we have Joe Knows, who's recapping last week's games, going right into Dollars to Deuces, which is our gambling show. Thursday night is a dash of DFS. Saturday night is Down Under Dynasty, where it's all dynasty-related fantasy football. Sunday morning is a Cup of Joe. He's recapping the college slate and talking about the upcoming NFL slate, going right into the Blitz with Justin, Alex, Mike. And on the Blitz, they're answering all your start-sit questions. And in here, I'm looking at the comments right now. We already got Chris in here. Said, guys, thanks for helping me out on Sunday. Chris, we appreciate you. Thanks for watching the show. This is what it's all about. All right. We want to help you. We want to interact with you. And then you're helping us by watching the show, commenting. You know, one hand washes the other. We appreciate you. We are thankful for you. He's saying his Bears are playing on Thursday against the Lions. If we lose to the Lions, I'm going to cry. I'm pretty confident. So with the Cowboys game and the Cowboys Raiders, I'm betting the under. And the Lions and Bears, I don't know how to bet it. I'm afraid to touch it. Nate, have you looked at the spread? What are you thinking, Lions and Bears?
Well, I don't. It's hard for me to say because I don't know. I mean, did they even say? I've been looking all day if Justin Fields is going to start or not. I haven't really got an answer.
No, they announced earlier that Nagy said earlier today that Dalton is going to be starting on Thursday,
which I think works out better for them with how Dalton played.
It's nothing against Justin Fields. I think he's going to be good. He's shown some times in greatness.
Right.
I blame the coaching and the offensive line. But anyways,
I'm really not panicking on Fields. I'm not panicking on Lance. I'm not panicking on Wilson. You know, I'm not throwing in the towel on any of those guys.
No, and I to be honest, I like actually I think I say it in a little bit. I like the Lions +3. So
that's what I'm thinking. It could go either way. Like you got to think the Lions have been fighting, right?
Yeah.
The Lions have been fighting, and I think it could go either way. So I understand what Chris is saying. If they lose to the Lions, he's going to cry. You know, that's a division game. It's tough. It's also Thanksgiving. You got family over. If you're the only diehard Bears fan in the household, you're the one who's got to hear it. I know because I'm living in New York and I'm a Cowboys fan. Every Thanksgiving, you know, since I was, you know, probably 5 or 6. You know, I remember the Minnesota game when Randy Moss just torched us like it was yesterday, man. I barely made it out of Thanksgiving alive. But I completely understand it. What's that?
I just want to say, Chris, if you're going to stick around and watch the entire show, I want to give you a heads up. I'm probably going to be your least favorite Toilets and Titles guy because I've got
probably all of us actually.
What's that?
I think we all take a few shots here at the Bears.
Yeah, no, I have kind of a reoccurring theme going on with tonight's show with my parts of the show. So just gonna apologize ahead of time, Chris. It's nothing personal.
But Chris, I'm the guy who like started the David Montgomery train last year. All right.
Yeah.
I think my energy.
He's your favorite.
All right. I think my energy, you know, pushed him to the top. My anti-Miles Sanders, my pro-David Montgomery. So I forget what I say. I'll be reminded later about what I wrote down in these notes. If I did dog the Bears, I apologize. But remember, David Montgomery's my guy. All right, everybody, check out toiletsandtitles.com. All right, we got weekly articles. We got start sits, DFS plays, all sorts of good stuff. We got power rankings, whatever you want. Toiletsandtitles.com has it. It also is going to give you links to our podcast episodes, to our YouTube channel. You can find it all in there. Also, if you're on the Twitter, I think I mentioned everybody's names. I'm at Coach Sheps, and the show is at Toilets to Titles. Check us out on there. Now, let's get into some news. All right, the first thing, Jason Garrett, he's headed to the unemployment offense. I think that was a Freudian slip because he's an offensive coordinator. And part of me thinks he's going to go on and continue to coach. So maybe I didn't say office and I said offense because I think he's going to find a position somewhere. And I'm hoping it's in the college ranks. But the Giants, man, he's gone. You know, they're pretty healthy right now. Galladay's healthy. Tony's healthy. The offensive line, you know, Barkley's. So, like, Garrett's gone. You know, that's the scapegoat. Then they better come out and they better put up some points this week. What do you guys think about Jason Garrett being gone there?
I mean, you mentioned earlier in the chat between like just the three of us in the chat that that Jason Garrett wasn't exactly the problem with the running. Like there was no running game issue in Dallas when he was there. And I feel like that was a big reason for the firing. But honestly, I'm kind of looking at this in a different light. Like I don't feel like this was Jason Garrett's fault. His entire team has been injured all season, and then they finally come back and they face one of the best defenses in the league, one of the best teams in the league, and they lose a big game, and now all of a sudden he gets fired. Like I get that coaches in general have a short leash and somebody's got to be the fall guy, but I almost feel like there was something more to it, and they were just looking for an excuse.
Yeah, I agree. It was on national television, Monday Night Football. I feel like the fans needed something. They needed blood. And my wish is that Jason Garrett ends up at USC. I honestly think he'd be a phenomenal college coach. I think he's a great players coach. I think he's got a good message. I think he runs a tight ship, and I think that would work in college. I think that would be ideal there. All right. The Pittsburgh Steelers got Minka Fitzpatrick, Joe Hayden, TJ Watt returning against the Bengals this week. So that matchup should be juicy. Looking forward to that. CeeDee Lamb is still in concussion protocol. That being said, he did go to all meetings Monday. He went to all meetings today. So it looks like he's about 50-50, which on Sunday, I thought he was 0.
Yeah.
50-50 is better than 0. All right. If he doesn't go, Michael Gallup is going to have an opportunity to earn some money. Michael Gallup, if we just saw Tim Patrick get paid. We saw Cortland Sutton get paid. Like they're kind of setting the market before the offseason. So we're seeing what these type of wide receivers are going for. Not saying he's Cortland Sutton, but I'm also not saying he's Tim Patrick, but there's money on the table we can actually compare it to. So Michael Gallup, if you want to make a huge paycheck in this offseason, this is the game to do it. Because even if Lamb plays, I think he's a decoy. I think he's going to be a decoy this week. You guys have any thoughts on Lamb before we move on to the next bit of news? Covered
I'm
it
with you.
All right,
I
good.
think, like I said, I think it'd be a big game for Gallup. I do.
I freaking hope so, man. I hope so. Andy Dalton to start this week for the Bears, like we had mentioned earlier. The Lions, man, we'll see. We'll see how this one goes. All right, David Bakhtiari could be back for the end of the season run for the Packers. Elton Jenkins tore his ACL in the loss Sunday. So Nate, how is Packers Nation feeling about their offensive line right now?
Well, if they're like me, they're devastated. Elton Jenkins is my favorite player on the Packers. It sucks, dude. I love that guy. He's I don't know what to say him home or not, but he's one of the most versatile offensive linemen in the game. I mean, he's a perennial All-Pro. He's phenomenal. He can play. Last year, he was playing center. He can play guard. He can play left tackle. I mean, wherever you need him. He's pretty well shored up the left side of the line this year with Bakhtiari gone. I know Bakhtiari is supposed to be back sometime in December, we hope. But it's, I guess, another next man up kind of deal. I think Josh Nijman played okay in Jenkins' spot when he came in, but it just kind of hankers the rest of the things. So
yeah,
it'll be tough. Like I said, I'd hate to see it. That's kind of the thing. Regardless of who it is, it's like he's an awesome dude, and you just hate to see it, regardless of the team.
All right, Chris is in the chat again. He's saying Tim Patrick is one of the most underrated wide receivers in the waiver wire. That is correct. I mean, even last year. So he's had, he's been kind of a diamond in the rough for a little bit of time now. Like he's at the point where, he's probably rostered in most leagues. He's definitely a flex play, especially, when Judy went down. That was big for him, but he is definitely undervalued and underrated. And, the Broncos are securing their weapons, man. They're getting ready. I don't know if they're going to draft a quarterback next year, if they're going to make a push for another quarterback next year, but they're locking in their weapons so that they can hopefully entice a quarterback to come out there. All right. Kareem Hunt on pace to return against the Ravens in week 12. So the Browns versus the Ravens, that should be another nice matchup. And then Matt Nagy set to be fired after the Thanksgiving game, which is interesting to me. Now they're saying, I guess he might not be fired. So Justin thinks it happens after the Lions beat them in week 12. So you think?
Yeah. So I put that down. I don't know if you actually caught the story, but there was a report out there that Matt Nagy was set to be fired after the Thanksgiving game, and it was reported by a couple different sources. But then the Bears come out and say, no, that's just a rumor. There's nothing to it. There's no truth to it. But I'm thinking there's smoke before fire. And if he does happen to lose this week against the Lions, which I believe is going to happen, then there's a pretty good chance that that smoke that came before the fire is going to happen. So,
Man, and I've been saying it all season. I want to see Lincoln Riley in Chicago. Go get that coach. Pair him
That's
up.
fine.
Pair him up with
Bring
Justin
him on.
Fields. I want to see
Bring
it.
him on.
I want to see it. You know, let's see it. Let's see. Some college coaches have panned out. Some haven't. You know, I think Matt Rule. I think actually he's done a decent job. But let's see. Let's see if Lincoln Riley can go over there, coach up Justin Fields, and make him ball out. Now, I want to mention before we move on to the rest of the show. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Adrian Peterson, for a couple games this year. It was fun. Got cut. They signed Golden Tate, so they're just going to go for the Arizona Cardinals role and have a bunch of old dudes. So
I like Golden Tate, dude. He's that dude is nasty.
Like 8 years ago.
Yeah, he's tough as nails, though, man. He's a tough dude. That dude is tough as shit. All right, patreon.com/toilets to titles. All right, that is our Patreon if you want to support the show. Also, if you want to become a member of the team, Tier 1, $3 a month, get you into our group chat on Discord. We'd love to see you in there. It's 24/7 access, 365 to all of the members of Toilets to Titles. You get in there, you ask us any questions, start sits, trades, whatever. And then we're also discussing it. We're discussing our own fantasy leagues in there. So you get to see our point of view on our own stuff and on your stuff. Tier 2 is $5 a month, get you into that chat, get you entry into the Frankenstein League next year, and get you early access to the waiver wire episodes that Justin puts out every Monday night and all the guys from Toilets to Titles work on. Right now, it's getting tough doing the waiver wire episodes as the season's going on, but we're still doing it, and Justin's still putting it out, and it's every Monday, immediately after Monday Night Football. Tier 3 is $10 a month, get you all of that. The entry you get into the Frankenstein League next year will be free if you're Tier 3, and that's $25 value. It also gets you one-on-one roster analysis from anybody at the Toilets to Titles family. All right. Now, let's move on to games of the week. These are the games we're looking forward to watching. This is where we have a little bit of a competition. Let's recap last week. I had Cowboys at Chiefs. It was 19-9. All right, so there was a 10-point differential. Justin had Colts at Bills, which was 41-15. That was a 26-point differential. He lost. Justin was riding high, man. He was way behind after the first few weeks, and then he came out hot. He was beating us, and he's trailing again.
I'd be pumped if I was him. If my Colts just beat the doors off the Bills, I wouldn't even be mad.
I was perfectly fine with it until I found out my name for the day.
Right.
But
that was you.
26 points. Yeah, I would have thought for sure, even being a Colts fan, that if it were a 26-point differential, that it would have been the other way around. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Oh, yeah.
All right, man. All right. Nate had Packers at Vikings, 31-34, 3-point differential. So he was the winner. So we all picked our teams, and only Justin's team came through for him. The season total. Justin's in last with 137 points. Nate's in second with 125. And I'm in first with 121, so I'm gonna wear that crown this week. All right, I'm very close. Nate, man, Nate was pretty like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Nate was far away. Yeah, so it just goes to show you. It just takes a few weeks. All right, week 12. Nate, I'm gonna let you go first, man. What's your game of the week?
I like the Vikings at the 49ers Sunday afternoon. I want to see how much magic old Kirk Cousins got left on that horseshoe. He's got shoved up his rear end. So, nothing against him. The Vikings.
Excuse me?
I think Kirk Cousins has a lucky horseshoe up his ass.
Okay. All right.
Are you sure it's not a lucky Viking horn?
Yeah.
Well, it might be. That goddamn thing. So annoying. Anyways. I'm excited to see the game. The Niners are rolling. The Vikings have looked very good the last couple of weeks. I think it's going to be a good football game. 2 good defenses. Jimmy G's been like top 6 or 8, I think.
Yeah, I talked
last
about
couple
that
weeks.
a little later. Yeah.
So I'm excited to see. I'm excited. It's going to be a good football game.
Justin, what's your game of the week, man?
I've got the Bears at the Lions because it's Thanksgiving, guys. It's Thanksgiving football. We grow up watching football on Thanksgiving every single year. You've got to pick a Thanksgiving game at some point. One of us had to have one on here. I fully believe that the Lions are there probably aren't that many out there that fully believe that the Lions are going to win this game. Well, and realistically, if that's going to happen, there's no way they're going to blow any team out, even the Bears. So it's got to be a close game if they're going to win. And so, I mean, I'm going to try my best to watch it. We've got Thanksgiving dinner going on at the same time, so obviously it's just one of those things. It'll be on in the background. I'll be checking my fantasy scores and catching it when I can. But yeah, Lions over the Bears by a field goal or less, and I think I'm going to take it this week, boys. I'm pretty excited. I feel confident.
Awesome. I mean, someone did have to pick a Thanksgiving game, and I wasn't picking my team because it didn't work out for me last week. So I won't be picking the Dallas Cowboys for quite a few weeks. I'm looking forward to. I'm taking my son to the field. Getting a little football action in. I can't wait. Like 10 a.m. We're going to record Dash of DFS 9 a.m. on Thursday. All right, so everybody tune in live. We're going to be talking so we can help you set your DFS lineups. We're going to be doing on top of our normal show, we're going to be doing 2 lineups. One's going to be just strictly a Thursday lineup, and then one's also going to be our week-long lineup. So make sure you check that out. But that's what I'm looking forward to. Go ahead, Justin.
And don't forget, too, that occasionally we'll filter in a little extra bonus episode for you, like the one that John did just a few days ago on Saturday, a college football special with the one and only Shane Hallam. So make sure you go back and check that out, because Shane is extremely good when it comes to predicting the draft for the next year. And that show in particular, it's always a fun episode to watch you guys go through and talk about these college players. And I learned so much from it as a guy that's not really good at Dynasty, just listening to that one episode to try to get the wheels turning every year with those rookie players coming up. It kind of gives you something to watch for. So that was great. So
it was fun having him. So Shane's from draftcountdown.com, and we went over his latest mock draft. We went through the whole first round. We broke down all the prospects. It was awesome, man. It was very good. Now, before I move on to my game, Chris is asking, he's looking for a defensive player on the waiver wire. Any suggestion? Marcus Davenport was one from me a few weeks ago, and he's been absolutely crushing it. So I doubt he's available. Quincy Williams, maybe look him up. He came out the gate hot for the Jets, hot. Then he got hurt. He had a concussion. I think he had like 3 or 4 weeks where he was quiet. This past week, he had 10 tackles, 2 assists, 3 tackles for loss. Crushed it. So I guarantee he's available. And in Sleeper, if you're playing on Sleeper, he's linebacker and safety eligible. So you could actually throw him at your safety. I don't know why he is, but he is both. And that's also Quinnen Williams' brother. So that's a guy I would suggest. All right. Now, my game of the week, I got Titans at Patriots. I think the Titans were the hot team. The Patriots are the hot team. It's like I'm very excited for this one. I think we're going to find out who these teams are, which one is for real, which one's a contender. Maybe they're both contenders, and maybe they beat the piss out of each other. And if they do, guess what? That's fun to watch. and it should hopefully not be decided by a lot of points. All right. So, all right. Locks of the week. Nate, how'd you do last week? And what are the locks of the week for this one?
It was a rough week. I thought it'd end up better. I was 1-3 last week, so a little tough. First, I had Packers -2.5, and didn't go our way. Lost by 3, so no big deal. I also had the Cowboys +2.5. Just another struggle. They lost by 10 to the Chiefs. The worst one, I think, for me, well, besides Packers, obviously, I had the Chargers -4.5. They won by 4, but I'm not sure what I was really hoping as I watched that game. The Steelers are down by 4, right? Towards the end, it's like 4th and 30 on their 2-yard line. You might as well take the safety, right? Give them 2 points, so they're up by 6, so then we cover, right? But then do a little onside punt and try to get the ball back to score, because the chances of getting to 4th and 31 are so low. I have a better chance of picking every game in a parlay, I think, than that actually hitting.
Yeah, 4th and 31.
So it's kind of I don't know. Whatever, it is what it is. So my only hit was the Patriots -7. They smoked the Falcons. It wasn't even close.
What do you think has the better odds? Getting a 4th and 31 or getting an onside punt?
Well, clearly he already. I mean, it sounds to me like he thinks the onside punt.
If I could guess and say that the 4th and 31 would be like, I don't know, maybe 6%, 7%, right? Okay. Maybe I would say that punt's probably 5%. I don't think there's that big of a difference, to be honest with you. I mean, like,
but it is a big change in the field position. So yeah, it still kind of makes sense.
Well, I mean, and the thing is, you're already, if what's 2 points? It doesn't matter anyways. You're down 4. So
Right.
field goal doesn't do anything. I mean, how many plays in the playbook are to get 31 yards?
Yep. There you go. There's your next
a Hail
Giants
Mary.
offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Nate.
Yeah, there you go. A head coach, man.
Yeah.
Josie Jenkins is asking thoughts on Pollard with all the injuries. I'll answer that. Zeke has been a full go this week. I do think he's a little banged up, but I don't think they could take the foot off the gas. I think they got to try to go with guns blazing. So I think they're going to put Zeke out there until they're either in a position where they've locked in a playoff spot or they're in a position where he just can't physically go anymore. And I do think that actually probably one of those two scenarios is going to happen. They're either going to win, 2 of the next 3 games and feel very confident and then try to sit him and get him ready for the playoffs. And that's right around fantasy playoffs. So that's when Pollard will pick up. Or if they keep putting him out there and he keeps getting beat up, because, I mean, it's not just the running with him, man. He slams himself into blitzing linebackers. Like, that's, dude, like 5 or 6 times a game, he just takes, like, it looks like a truck hit him, So this guy's taking a beating. So I think you need to hold on to Tony Pollard. I think he's going to get some run, probably right around the time the fantasy playoffs start. So that's my thoughts. All right, Nate, sorry I interrupted you. What are your locks of the week for week 12?
Real quick, I thought of an IDP streamer. Coach, you'll know better than me, Keanu Neal. I don't know if he's a safety or a linebacker for the Cowboys.
Linebacker.
I think he had like 7 or 8 tackles last week. So
big week.
There's another guy.
Yeah. And Van Der Esch hasn't looked that great, man. He is not.
Anyways, I digress. So week 12, like Justin, Lions +3. Let's go. It's time. Dan Campbell is getting that first win in Chicago, and I'm pumped. I don't know if Jared Goff's starting or Tim Boyle. I don't really care. Just give DeAndre Swift the ball. He's finally realized that they're close. The games are closer when what's he getting? 30 carries. I mean, he's not averaging the best, but I don't care. So give Swift the ball. Yeah, why not? The rest of the team is terrible.
Let him throw the ball.
Yeah, why not? He probably do better than Goff. I don't.
Giants are letting Kadarius Toney throw the ball. So I mean,
he's got a cannon.
Yeah, they were gassing him up after that throw, man.
Oh yeah. Next one, another Thanksgiving special. Cowboys -7.5. The Raiders, or with the Raiders coming to Dallas. I don't think the Raiders are very good. They look good to start, and I'll talk about that later. So Cowboys -7.5. They have a lot to prove, I think, after last weekend. I think they'll get back together. I think Gallup and even Cedric Wilson will do some work for him.
Man, Cedric Wilson, Noah Brown, they all pissed me off last week. They dropped like balls were hitting them in the hands, and like you just, you can't do that. All season, these guys are catching everything. Cedric Wilson had a catch, I want to say like week 2 or week 3 along the sidelines that like people were glowing about. Then they're dropping balls that hit them in the hands. Very disappointed the wide receiver core. I'm sorry, Nate, continue.
No, it's fine. And Dutch Schultz needs to step up a little better, I think, this week. So he will. Anyways, next game, Patriots -6 versus Titans. I think the Patriots are rolling. I was with them last week and pretty well will be with them until they prove me otherwise. And I think Bill will shut down A.J. Brown. He has been pretty lackluster the last 2 weeks. I don't really know any other targets that the Titans have. Somebody said that Tannehill won't throw 4 picks against the Titans or against the Patriots. I'm sorry. But he did it against the Texans, whose defense is not good. So not saying the Patriots are going to have 4 picks, but next one, Bengals -4.5 versus Steelers. Steelers don't play that well on the road in general. And I think that they're struggling mightily. The defense does get some big guys back, which will be helpful, but I think the Bengals are going in the right direction, coming off a big win against the Raiders. And my last one is Chargers -2.5 at the Broncos. I think the Chargers showed last week that they are almost the same team as last year when they just blow games, and I thought that it was going to be the same thing. But the Justin Herbert just is phenomenal.
Who?
Potential Hair Bear is phenomenal. Some people don't know who I'm talking about, so I try to say his name first generally. But yeah, the Hair Bear is a potential front runner for the MVP. I think he just has. I know he's had down games, but anymore, every single quarterback in the race for the MVP has a few chinks in their armor. So Chargers -2.5. So I gave you 5 this week because it's Thanksgiving.
Cute nicknames. Hashtag. That's what you're here for. We're here for the cute nicknames.
That's
why you
it.
need it. Patreon.com/Toilets and Titles. You get in there. Tier 1, $3. You get to see the cute nicknames. All right. You also get access to the Friday night shows. This guy stinks. What are all the Friday night shows we got? I know we got like about 4 or 5 going every week Friday night. All right.
It's a rough one. There's too many. Yeah. I don't even know the lineup anymore.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. But Patreon, you get in the Patreon, you get access to all that.
All right. They're all focused on being negative.
Yeah.
Yes.
Friday nights.
Oh, yeah.
That's what Friday nights are for, man. And then Saturday night we rebound. We're just
dunking on everybody Friday
night. Yeah, that's it. All right. Dudes and duds. I had possibly my best week of the season with my predictions from last week, my starts and sits. I didn't even I got to pat myself on the back for this one.
For sure.
So some of my starts, I had Cam Newton, quarterback 5. Joe Mixon was running back 4. James Conner was running back 8. Elijah Moore was wide receiver 3. That was my big one for the week, man, because I was on him. Like I said, we need more. We need it. We got it. And I started him. I also started Darnell Mooney in probably 2 or 3 leagues together. Like I started both of them, and they both crushed it for me. Very happy. All right, Dawson Knox was one of my starts. He was tight end 6. And then my sits, I had Matt Ryan, who was quarterback 30. I had the Bills running backs, and there was no running back above running back 28 for the week. And then Michael Pittman, who was wide receiver 71, and which worked out because it didn't matter he was wide receiver 71 because the Colts still won. All right, and Jonathan Taylor 8. So I was hot last week. Let's see if I can continue to be hot this week. My dudes for the week, I got Russell Wilson at the Washington football team. The kitchen has been closed, like absolutely closed since week 4. Russ has played in 3 games over the last 7 weeks and is quarterback 42 in that time span. This week, he gets a primetime game against the worst passing defense in the NFL. Russ is going to be on his Guy Fieri this week. All right, kitchen's back open. Russ is going to cook. Jimmy Garoppolo versus Minnesota. We talked about him before. Jimmy GQ is quarterback 6 over the last 4 weeks, and he's going into arguably his best matchup in that time frame. Ayuk is coming on. Kittle is heating up, and Debo is a dude. Certified. I'm feeling a big-time performance this week. Next, for the Bears, I got David Montgomery, my guy at Detroit. Since returning from injury, Monty has seen 13 and 14 touches and has been very efficient with those touches, averaging 4.8 yards per carry and then 4.1 yards per carry. This week, I expect him to be unleashed, like full workload against the Lions defense that is allowing 26 PPR points per game to running backs. So that's a juicy matchup. Next, Nate, this one's for you. Saquon Barkley versus Philadelphia. The Eagles are allowing the 5th most fantasy points to running backs this season, and Saquon is due. He's just due. All right, it's got to come this week if it's going to come at all. If it doesn't, you can move on from him. All right, but it's got to happen.
Drop him.
Amen. It's got to happen. All right, next, DJ Moore at Miami. Moore has 102 targets this season. That's a lot, but he only has 62 receptions. Okay, he's getting the opportunities, but hasn't been capitalizing. This week, it will all come together for him. The Dolphins have allowed 34 PPR points a game to opposing wide receivers. Moore will continue the trend of Moore's producing. All right, last week it was Elijah Moore. This week it's DJ Moore. We need more Moores. All right, Rondale Moore, Elijah Moore, DJ Moore. The Moores are just going to produce. This Moore is due for a monster game next. Brandon Ayuk versus Minnesota. I'm stacking Jimmy with Brandon this week. Ayuk had his best performance of the season in week 11 and has an even better matchup this week. It's all coming together. It's the right time for him. Start your Ayuks. All right, Noah Fant versus the LA Chargers is my final start. The Chargers defense is so bad against tight ends that they allowed Eric Ebron to earn 11 PPR points last week. Yes, you heard that right. 11 points. Eric Ebron. All right. Noah Fant's going to eat. He is absolutely going to eat against the Chargers. Start him on. All right, my duds, my sits for the week. The hair bear himself, Justin Herbert at Denver. Herbert and co. played great against Pittsburgh, but I'm not liking this matchup for him against division foe Denver, whose defense has been playing great against the past few weeks. Next, Derek Carr at Dallas. A few weeks ago, I would have said that this game is going to be a shootout. Now, with the way both defenses are playing, I'm expecting a low-scoring game. I'm thinking the Cowboys' defense gets after Carr early and often and limits his production in this one. Next, the Bucs running backs at Indianapolis. Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones had 10 and 8 touches this past week against the Giants. Carr does down. Stop. I'm not liking the touch share there. On top of that, the Colts defense is stout against the run. Sit all Bucs backs this week. All right. Next, sorry, Justin. Jonathan Taylor versus Tampa Bay. Taylor absolutely went off last week. The Bucs defense has been phenomenal against the run. What happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? We're going to find out this week. My prediction in this case, the defense wins. All right. Next, CeeDee Lamb versus the Las Vegas Raiders. So I'm just throwing all our guys under the bus here. Lamb made it to the all-team meetings on Monday, was not displaying any symptoms. All-team meetings today. I believe he plays this week, but I think he's going to be a decoy. The Raiders defense has played opposing receivers great this season. It's not looking good for Lamb. This week, you can toss that CD aside for an MP3, or rather, an MG13. Michael Gallup.
Nice.
All right. Next,
Nice.
Kenny Galladay at Philadelphia. KG is back, but is he though? This offense now runs through KT. That's Kadarius Toney. If you held on to Kenny since his injury in Week 5, I'm sad to say, unless you're my opponent, that this will not be paying off for you. At least not this week. Finally, Hunter Henry at Tennessee. Henry has been scoring TDs at a very impressive rate this season. Hard to believe that sustains. Without the TDs, he's been pretty average. The Titans defense plays tight ends very well, and I think Henry won't be saved by the TD this week. Justin, Turtleheads, let's roll.
Sorry, I'm having so much fun with the comments here on the YouTube. So if you're not watching on YouTube, make sure you go back and check it out. John getting pretty creative here with the dad jokes. I love it. So my big turtle head for the day is Elijah Moore. I know he's already broken out. He's already there.
He's there.
He's there. Like
Yeah.
we know he's there, but I have a good feeling that he's going to be even more there. He got there, and then he's going to be here. So he's going to keep getting there. This dude had double digits PPR every game for the last 5 weeks in a row. Like I said, we already know he's there, but this wide receiver schedule he has coming up, especially for your fantasy football playoff schedule, is absolutely a monster schedule for wide receivers. He's got the Dolphins, the Jaguars, and the Bucks during your playoff run. So if you're a playoff team, you feel like maybe you just need that one little extra bump. You need that wide receiver. Maybe the guy that has Elijah Moore is thinking, I can sell him high right now because he plays for the Jets and he's on a good roll, but he does still play for the Jets. I don't know who his quarterback is. I don't think this is going to last. Maybe you make a move. Maybe you can get him for less than what he's actually worth. And or if you have him, just hold on to him. Don't try to be that guy. Don't get tricky with it. All right. Let's see. I had a couple of honorable mentions here as well. Ty Johnson with Michael Carter going out for multiple weeks, and a quarterback like Mike White, whenever he comes back, that absolutely loves to target the running back position. I don't see White being out for very long. He's probably, I would say, most likely going to come back next week. Even if he doesn't, then you still have a lot of the run load will likely go to Ty Johnson. I know there's Tevin Coleman there, but Tevin Coleman hasn't really gotten much run at all this season, with or without Michael Carter, and Ty Johnson has. So he should still be the consistent there. And, of course, it makes sense he has that same playoff schedule as Elijah Moore. I know for Elijah Moore, it was more for a wide receiver standpoint, but the Dolphins and Jags are also still a pretty decent stack for running backs as well, especially that first-round playoff game against the Dolphins. So not a bad guy to pick up as well. And that guy you can actually get on waivers in a lot of leagues. So Cam Newton, for the reasons that I'm about to talk about in the next segment, so I'm not going to get too deep into that one, but I am going to kind of consider Cam Newton a bit of a turtlehead as well, even though he's had a couple of great seasons or a couple of great weeks in a row for fantasy, or at least unexpected weeks for fantasy. And I think it's about to get even better for him.
Yeah, this turtlehead, is one that, you've eaten the food in the past and it's gone down well and came out quickly. But this time around, it just kind of stuck in there for a while. But it's finally seemed like it's,
like Thanksgiving.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's the perfect thought or picture that we want to be painting for everybody as they're getting ready for their Thanksgiving meals. All right, slow your roll or you're all in. So these are players or teams we aren't yet sold on, or players or teams we're all in on. I'm going to go first, man. I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals. I kind of mentioned this before. A lot of teams have been bitten by the injury bug, but the Cardinals have as well, and they've still managed to stay above water. I think they're the best team in football right now. I do. And I'm predicting they'll be in the Super Bowl this year. Arizona Cardinals going to be playing in the Super Bowl. I'm all in. Nate, go ahead.
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Actually, I'm not even talking about the Cardinals, though. Slow my roll. Jalen Hurts. Everybody I've seen on Twitter, I almost commented today, and I didn't want to get into it with the guy. He's the guy. He's the guy. Well, I'm sorry. He's not. I know they're winning right now. They just beat a really banged-up Saints team. They have, literally nobody. Kamara's not there. They can't score. And they'll probably win again this weekend. They're playing a poor New York Giants team. Sorry, Joe. But Jalen can't throw the football. It's fun to watch him run all over like we're playing Madden. But, what happens when they're actually down in a game? When they play a legit team that gets out early, they're in trouble. You need a drop back passing game to compete, or if or play from behind. He was 13 of 24 for 147 yards last week. That's a 54% completion rate. Like, that's terrible. I'm sorry. It's terrible. And on the season, just over 61% completion rate with 13 touchdowns. There's nobody to draft next year, but he's not your guy. Sorry.
He is not your guy. He is not the droid you were looking for. Justin, Go ahead.
So last week on the next segment, the whole this time next week we'll be saying, I mentioned Cam Newton, and I said that I feel like this time next week, meaning this week, we're going to be saying that I think that maybe there's a good chance that what we saw that second half of the season with Cam Newton really was COVID related and not just Cam Newton being Scam Newton. And turns out it looks like maybe he is still the real deal. And so I'm kind of all in on Cam Newton, and mostly for the team as a whole. I'm in on the Carolina Panthers being a playoff team, and maybe even a decent playoff team that could be a contender to win that first wild card round. So I'm all in on the Carolina Panthers as a playoff team, partly because I felt since last season that team was just a decent quarterback away from being a solid playoff team. And I kind of thought that maybe they got that with Sam Darnold. I was really hoping that Sam Darnold wasn't just Sam Darnold because he was a Jet Sam Darnold. And he showed flashes this season, but obviously that's not the case. And now they do have Cam back, and I feel like Cam just kind of offers that edge to the team that they've missed since the ugly split that they had a couple of years ago. But also because, like I said, actually that was with the Jets, but also they do have a nice schedule coming up for the next two games. I know that they just lost a game to Washington that they really should have won this week. That was a heartbreaking loss, but Cam still played really well, and especially for fantasy purposes. But he played really well for a guy that's only been with the team for a week and a half, and now they get two games coming up against the Dolphins and the Falcons with a bye week in between. So he has 3 weeks of 3 more weeks of practices and practically scrimmage games there with the Dolphins and the Falcons. So I feel like he's going to have a better grasp of that offense by the end of that 3-week period. That'll give him 4.5 weeks in this offense. And then they're going to be tested. So if they can find a way to battle, after that, they've got the Bills that a lot of times, there have been times this season that the Bills kind of look like a mirage, like maybe they aren't as good as we thought they were on paper. But and then after that, an always tough divisional game against the Saints, and of course 2 games against the Bucks in those last 4 games. So that gauntlet could really help prepare them for the playoffs, or it could keep them out of the playoffs. But I kind of feel like right now they're only a half a game behind 7th place, that 7th seed in the playoffs. I really think they got a shot at it.
All right, excellent. Hey, I want to ask one question that I saw in the chat here. Christian Nova is asking, what's happening, gents? Looking for some turkey week lineup advice. Need 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, 1 flex from this bunch. Mike Williams, Chase Claypool, Michael Gallup, Miles Sanders, Melvin Gordon, and Ramondre Stevenson. So I'm going Mike Williams and Claypool 100%. And the reason I'm going with Claypool this week, the Bengals, they play pretty well against wide receivers. And I was going to put, a Steelers wide receiver in my duds segment this week. But then I looked at what Darren Waller did last week against the Bengals. He went off. And I feel like, Deontay Johnson is more of your stereotypical wide receiver. And Chase Claypool is a big dude who can get vertical, a la, Darren Waller. And I honestly think, I think they're going to try to exploit that part of the defense that Waller was able to exploit. And I think Chase Claypool is going to be the one to do it. So I think Deontay Johnson might actually get shut down this week. I think Claypool is going to eat Mike Williams, man, he's just, that's a high ceiling play right there. So those two I'm very comfortable with. I'm uncomfortable that you can't pick Gallup because I'd like to put him in there. But you know what? The Raiders secondary is actually pretty tough. And I think there's going to be a lot of ground yards in this one. So now I got Williams, I got Claypool, and then there's Sanders, Melvin Gordon, or Ramondre Stevenson. All three are in timeshares. Miles Sanders probably looked the best. Ramondre looked great, but Damian Harris is going to get his touches. Melvin's Melvin. You know what I mean? And then there's Miles Sanders. What are you guys thinking? Who's the running back you guys are playing?
For me, it's tough. I can't say Miles Sanders,
right?
But the Giants defense. I mean, you almost have to.
Play. Yeah,
the Giants defense is not good.
Right.
I want to say Melvin Gordon, but another, because the Chargers defense hasn't been good, but it's a pretty big timeshare. I think for me, it'd probably go Miles, Melvin, Ramondre, because the Titans defense has been stout. For me, I like Williams and Gallup myself. I'm out on Claypool though, so
okay,
pretty similar.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Miles Sanders as much as I don't really like it. I just like that matchup. And I can agree with the Williams as well, but I need that flex, and I don't see the comment anymore.
So there was Mike Williams.
Oh, there we go.
Chase Claypool, Michael Gallup, Miles Sanders, Melvin Gordon, and Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Mike Williams as the wide receiver and Sanders as the running back. I think that one flex right there. For me, if I'm going to flex, it's always going to be a running back. So I'm going to give that flex to Melvin Gordon.
Ooh, so we got three different options for you there. So you're gonna have to decide which of us to trust.
But I tell you what, though, what you can do is bring us that same question on the Blitz on Sunday morning. We start at about 10:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time, and you're gonna have myself and two other new guys that'll answer the same question. And don't be surprised if I give you a different answer.
Yeah. Well,
Chargers run defense is.
You'll have more data. You'll have more data by then. The Chargers run defense is terrible. That's like every running back's dream this season.
Right.
There's one more question too. While we're at it, can we do it?
Yeah, go
ahead. It's an easy one.
That's not the question.
I clicked on the wrong one. Sorry. Mark Yasko. For me, I'm going Logan Thomas because I don't think Tyler Higbee's good anyways. But against
Tyler
Packers,
Higbee's been decent. He's been decent. But go ahead.
For me, that interception last week, it was all on him.
Right.
Catch the football. He caught a touchdown because Stafford threw it 100 miles an hour and stuck it in his chest pad.
Right there.
That's why you got a touchdown. But I think Logan Thomas is, he's been hurt for 6-7 weeks. But I think Higbee's going to be stuck in the middle. Kevin King is a terrible cornerback. So OBJ and Kupp and probably Van Jefferson, even old Ben Skowronek or whatever, probably going to have pretty big days because the Packers secondary is banged up.
And Logan Thomas, when he's healthy, like when he's been, since he converted to tight end and got the starting role in Washington, he's been very
huge last year.
Very productive. So that's the play. If he's available and he's playing, he's healthy, he's starting, I think it's Logan Thomas. I don't think it's close. Justin?
Yep.
Yeah, the Seahawks are the bottom third in the league against tight ends, and Logan Thomas has been really close to coming back for the last 2 or 3 weeks. I think that they've tried to do their due diligence to make sure he doesn't re-injure himself. I don't think that it's a typical, you got to be weary of him coming back. It's the tight end position. It's a freaking crapshoot anyway. Most of these tight ends are touchdown dependent anyhow. There's a good chance maybe he only plays, 40% of the snaps, but he's going to be in there in the red zone. I think I'm going to take Thomas here as well.
All right, we got one more question. Mark is asking, do we like Brandon Ayuk or Antonio Brown off injury this week? So earlier in the show, I did my Dudes and Duds segment, which you can also find in a written form on toiletsandtitles.com. I'm going Ayuk. He's heating up, man. That guy's hot. I'm starting Garoppolo this week. I'm starting Ayuk this week. I think both those guys are going to eat. I just really like that. I'm playing him over Antonio Brown. I am. You guys, you're with me? We're good? All right, so the whole gang is starting Ayuk. All right, at this time next week, we'll be saying so. To the Bears fan in the chat, I apologize. All right. But at this time next week, we will be saying we don't want to see the Bears or the Lions on Thanksgiving anymore. We're just over it. It's been a few years, they're always, it's the early game is always the worst. The uniforms are terrible. The Lions, like the shit the Lions wear on Thanksgiving is brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal. Like, come on, grow up, give us a decent product, not this garbage. So and watch it be a phenomenal game. And if I make that happen, if I jinx it, if I counterbalance it, by talking smack, that's fine. Because you know what, I want to watch a good game, but I am so doubtful that that's actually going to happen. But Nate, I know you were going to say, yeah, go ahead, Justin.
Because I wrote this down without even seeing yours, and mine was, y'all really enjoyed that Lions and Bears game a lot more than you thought you would, didn't you?
Oh, so it's the opposite. All right. That's funny.
Hey, do I need to wear the Calvin Johnson jersey?
Wait, look at Justin being half full and me being half empty, man.
Yeah.
Two sides of the coin there. But Nate, what were you saying about Calvin Johnson?
I said, do I need to put the Calvin Johnson jersey on to wear to Thanksgiving with all of my brother-in-laws are Bears fans, as well as most of the family I'm going to see? Maybe I should throw that on just to spite them,
There you go.
If it's a Thanksgiving Day version of the Calvin Johnson jersey, just throw it in the garbage.
Hell no, it's just a regular baby blue normal jersey. It's not the one that looks like it was some random 7th grade junior high team.
Doesn't it? It looks like a if my high school team was wearing those uniforms, I'd be like, we need to change this. This is terrible. We don't even look like a decent high school team, and a professional team's wearing them.
Hey, that uniform will look a lot better when the guys are on the sidelines eating turkey legs, though.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. The Lions. I think unanimously we think the Lions are going to win this one. But you know what? I don't know. I'm not picking this game. I'm not touching it. I'm not betting on it. It's too. I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea. All right, Nate. At this time next week, what will we be saying?
What a coaching showcase we all witnessed between Doofus Matt Nagy and the Motor City Madman Dan Campbell. I'm just kidding. We all went in on this game. I had to put it down because you guys both said it, so I was like, I got to. But I am excited to watch it because it's going to be funny. But what I would say, Raiders are toast. Started up 5-2, could have been 3-5 with some close games. They're 5-5 now. Same old Raiders. Start out hot, floundered to another 500 record or less. They've had one season over 500 since 2003, which was in 2016. They were 12-4. Sorry, Rich. I really am. You're my dude. But they are terrible. And they're done, man. They're done.
All right.
Too much to go through.
So that's it. That wraps up this week's show. That was episode number 97. This is week number 12. It is Thanksgiving. Again, we are grateful, appreciative, and thankful for all of you, the listeners. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/toilets-to-titles. Again, tier 1, it's $3 a month. Get you into our group chat on Discord. 24/7 access to all the members of Toilets to Titles. We're talking all things fantasy football in there. Any questions, you throw them in there, and you're getting everybody's point of view, everybody's perspective. We want to see you in there. We'd appreciate your support. Also, if you could, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell so you're alerted every time we go live. Like the episodes, throw us some comments. All of those things help us out. We're putting the content out there. We're trying to grow this thing. We're trying to help you. We're trying to get everybody from the toilet bowl to the championship game, from the toilets to the titles. That is that's the goal, man. That's what we're trying to do here. And guys, I'm going to pass it over to you. See if you guys got anything to say on this Thanksgiving episode before we wrap it up. Justin, I'll pass it to you first.
So I know you probably can't really tell now, but because it's grown in the last few days, but I tried a little something funny and different with the No Shave November. Every year I do something a little different. This time I went with the Wolverine look.
I like it.
This part was shaved and this part was shaved, and then I left just a little bit there. But again, No Shave November, just to kind of help support awareness for men's health. So just it gives me an opportunity to get that out there to everybody.
Excellent, man. Nate?
Hey, Mark, by the way, I would not be sitting Michael Pittman for AB. If you really want AB in your lineup, put him in there. But the Bucs pass defense is terrible. And the Colts pass defense has been pretty good. You know, Rocky Sin, love the guy. Kenny Moore looked pretty good. So I'm starting Pittman over AB all day.
John mentioned something about Michael Pittman earlier, and it made me think of it at that time, and then I kind of forgot, but I wanted to mention Michael Pittman for a second. There's one thing that I've noticed from watching the Colts game, like sometimes twice a week, is I've really watched the development of his run blocking as well. And when you have a rounded player like that can continue to develop in all facets of the game, he's going to continue to just always be a part of the game. Like a regular, like he's nowhere near as good at blocking as Hines Ward. Don't get me wrong, but Hines Ward was on the field because of his ability to block. Yeah. And then he also happened to get 700 to 900 yards per season and about 10 touchdowns a season. So like that's just something to consider with your fantasy teams. If you have him in dynasty and people are trying to buy him from you right now, you might consider if he's going to continue to elevate his game like that, you might want to ask for a little bit more.
All right. Well, that does it, man. We're done. We're ready to roll, everybody. I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. Stay safe. I hope the games are great. I hope everybody enjoys them. I really hope, as long as you're not in the leagues I play in, that all of your fantasy dreams come true. All right. You guys are lucky. You guys do well. You guys make the playoffs because it's crunch time right now. It is crunch time. Hopefully you play in dynasty leagues that don't have a trade deadline, because they shouldn't. A trade deadline in dynasty is absolutely ridiculous. And if you're a loser and you're out of it, you could be selling. All right. If you're a winner and you're in it, you could be buying. There's always something to be done. You should always be trying to build a championship, whether it's next year or this year. Make moves, make something happen. Go get yourself a ship now, get yourself a ship later. Whatever you're doing, be active, get after it. We will talk to you all later on. Enjoy your